And now it's time for the Hebrew of the week. And today we are in Ruth, chapter 2, verse 10. Some fun stuff here. See if you can pronounce the Hebrew. Here's how I would do it. Vatipol al paneha vatishtaku arza vatomer. Okay, so what is this? What do you recognize? Vav patak doubling, converted imperfect. Vav patak doubling, converted imperfect. All is a preposition. You can call me Betty, and I'll call you the preposition all, which is to or upon. Vav patak doubling, vatomer, we know that. That's converted imperfect. It's a third feminine singular from Amar. It's a call or G. It's and she said. Okay, so what do we got here? So we got two letters. We have two letters here, va tipol. I know the vav patak doubling is the converted imperfect bit, preterite. The tav, therefore, must be an imperfect performative. I'm thinking it's third feminine singular because Ruth is talking, right? Boaz has just said, I'm going to tell my people to stay away from you. You can drink here. You're going to be safe here. Stick to my people. I'm going to give you some protection. And she does something here. What is it? Well, there's fall. She falls, actually, by coincidence. What word is it? We're missing one of the three radicals. Is it a final hey that's gone away? Is it a middle vav or hirik that's gone away? Nope, it's a nun. Nun assimilates when no vowel separates. That doubled pay is a first nun. So it's nafal, which means to fall, conveniently. Very nice. I like it when a plan comes together. So it means, and she fell. And she fell. She fell upon paneha. She fell on her paneha. No, her face. She fell on her face. She didn't really fall, though. She went down. I mean, it's a controlled fall, okay? She didn't hurt herself. There was no bruising in this falling. Upon the ha is a third feminine singular her. That's a possessive suffix. And then panayim is face. I've got two. It's a dual. I've got two faces, this face and this face. She fell upon her face as in reverence. We know this. If you've been around the Bible for a while, you know what this means. It's to fall on her face not in a kind of way. A face plant, not a face plant. It's a bowing. And in fact, this next word is very interesting. This is a important word. It's kavah, and you can see just these last two letters, kavah. Wow, what's all this stuff on the front? This is unusual, but the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Kavah is a third hay, and the hay's gone away. What's all this other stuff? Well, you got vav patak doubling, so that's converted imperfect. It's a preterite. That means that tav is a performative of the imperfect. It's a third feminine singular, just like up here. And then, so what's this shta? Well, this is a stem that let's call it the HT shin stem. So this, by the way, this analysis I already told you, it's a G, it's a converted imperfect, it's third feminine singular, it's from nafal. This is HT shin stem. So the way I'd like to think about this is that you've got the PL, which is the doubling stem, the D stem. You've got the pual, which is the passive of that stem. And then you've got the HTD, which is the Hiph'il, which is the reflexive of that stem. I wonder if the HT shin is kind of like the reflexive of the causative sequence. So you've got a Hiph'il, or H, which is causative. You've got the hofal, which is the HP, or the passive. And then HT shin would then be the reflexive stem. But it only appears with this word, kavah. So we might call it the hishtakavah stem, as it were. Anyway, it's HT shin is a way to refer to it. But it basically is used with this bowing. And bowing doesn't necessarily mean worship in either Hebrew or Greek. Proskuneo in the New Testament doesn't necessarily mean worship. So, when the wise men bow before Jesus, you can't just assume that they're worshiping him. They are giving him homage for sure, but you would proskuneo before a king. And so here, Ruth doesn't worship Boaz, but she certainly hishtakavazim. She bows before him. So that's a fun form right there. And she bowed arzah, to the ground. So this is a locational hey. The kamatz hey at the end indicates direction. That was something that a kamatz hey at the end of a word could do. So eretz is land or ground, and so this is to the ground. She fell on her face, and she bowed to the ground, and she said, next line, see if you can pronounce this. Here's how I would. Eliv madua mazati chen ba'eneka. Okay, what is this? So this is el, which is to, and then this is a vav, it's an object suffix, him, to him, and she said to him, and now here's where the quote begins. Madua, why? This is called a furtive patak. It slipped in before the final guttural. That often happened. Gutturals prefer A-class vowels, and you kind of need to say a to get from u to so madua, and that's called a furtive patak. It snuck in there, a sneaky patak, to make the sound transition. Those Masoretes were clever. They accounted for everything. So she said to him, why mazati? Why have I found Cain? Why have I found favor? Matzah means to find. This is a perfect first common singular G stem from matzah. The aleph quiesces at the end of a long syllable, as if it doesn't exist. It kind of becomes an open syllable. And then in your eyes. So ba means in, ka means your, masculine singular, and then ein, einayim. This is a plural. Again, we have two. It's dual, two eyes. In your eyes. Why have I found favor in your eyes? She says. And then see if you can pronounce this. Here's how I would. Lahaki reini va'anoki nakriya. Let me see. Is that a vocal schwa? I'm thinking this is a long A, so that would be. So it would be nakariya, is my guess. Okay. Unless, yeah, I think that's a long A rather than a short O. So I'm going to go with nakariya. Let me pause and double check myself. Well, actually, I am seeing in Strong's an O. So let's go with nakariya and call this a kamatz katuf, which is a short O. Her servant, female servant. Okay, so what's going on here? So let's do this last bit. Va'anaki, anaki is I, it's the pronoun I, one form of it. There are two of them, ani or anaki. So, and I, interesting dot there. I don't know what that is. Might be a mistake, or it might not be. So, and I, nakriya, and I am a female servant. You know, what's going on here? Why are you, and then let's look at this one. This is another fun form in this one. So we have lamed, which is two. We have a hey, and a hirik yod. I'm thinking this is a Hiph'il, and the patak is often under the beginning of a Hiph'il. So I'm thinking this is a Hiph'il, which means we're missing a letter because ni is me. It's an object suffix. This must be an infinitive construct because we've got a verb and we've got a preposition and a possessive suffix or object suffix. So we're missing a letter, and actually I think it's nakar. So nun assimilates when no vowel separates. The nun has been sucked into the kaf, and so it's nakar. It is a Hiph'il infinitive construct from nakar with a preposition la on the front and an object suffix ni on the end. Okay, so basically this is to cause me to bring attention. So why? Why have what did we say here? Why have I found favor in your eyes to cause me to come to your attention? And I'm a foreigner, she asks. So this is a H infinitive construct with a first common singular suffix and a la preposition on the front. Whoa, lots of fun stuff today in Ruth 1:10.